Hello, welcome back to Academy for Tech. Today I'll be discussing you about data types, type conversion, input, output, and import function you're using in the Python. So let's move on to the data types. Let's see what we have in the data type. So in data type we have Python numbers, Python list, tuple, string, set, and dictionary. So you can notice that here we can use type function to identify which class your numbers belongs to, which your variables belongs to. So you can just mention type and just put your variable here. So in the program we'll be able to identify which class your variable belongs to. Similarly, we can use isInstance. So what's the benefit of isInstance is like if you use this function, we can identify what classes the user been inputted. Similarly, we have list here. The list is enclosed with brackets, and most importantly the items in the list is separated by commas, and we can call the individual items by indexing. I'll be giving you more detailed information about indexing in my future classes. I hope you'll be able to understand or during my programming section. So this is how we can declare the list. And another thing is that for the list you can update the data. For example, you have a different item, so the items can be updated using indexing. So let's move on to the Python tuple. So Python tuple, we use parentheses to close the Python tuple, and all elements are being placed with commas similar to the list. But thing is that for the tuple it is immutable, so we cannot change the data. For example, in the list we can change the data by calling the items using the index. For the tuple we can't do it, and also for the tuple it's much faster than list, so that's benefit of the tuple and the list. And next will be the string. We usually use a string now when you're taking the printout. We will use a single quote or double quote or something, you can see. And also I hope you understand, I've given you an idea about how we use commenting in my previous section. So we use triple quote for commenting out. So here in the Python string we use triple quotes. So triple quote is used to give multi-line statement, and we use single quote for a single line statement. So we'll be saving it as a string. You can call by indexing. So for example, if you have some character like data type, let's say data type, you can use let's say I'm saving data type as a character in a variable called a. So it's like a equal to data type. So if you call a of 0, I'll be able to fetch D. Similarly, you can fetch the data. I'll be giving you more on the programming section. And let's go to the Python set. Okay, for the Python set we use braces, and another thing is that this one also immutable, so you may not be able to change the data. And also the thing is that it is unordered, and another problem is that if you have a duplication, they'll be removing the duplication. That's why we call set. Similarly, we have Python dictionary. We have a key and a value. So when you need to access the dictionary, you have to call by key. So I hope you'll be able to understand more on the programming section. I'll be discussing about that. Let's have a look at the program. Here you can see that this program is dedicated for Python numbers. So here you have a is equal to integer. So by seeing I can understand it belongs to integer. But if you need to check whether verify it's whether integer or something, you can use type function, like type of a. My program will tell which class it belongs to. Similarly, b is equal to 3 point some big decimals. So here we can use here you can see 15 decimal places are there. I just indicated that in the output you will be surprised, only 15 decimal places only will be counted, others will be removed, means there will be data loss. So you have to make sure when you are doing program, if you are considering more than 15 decimal places, you had to go for plan B. So similarly, here you can see isInstance. So here you can note down that this is a character, so it belongs to string class. So the program will be providing me whether it's true or false. Similarly, it's float. So here you can see this is an integer, but I'm giving a float. So the program will tell me whether the statement is false or true. So let's take that from the program. So as I told you, I execute the program. So value of a is an integer. Okay, and the program is also an integer. Similarly, for b is a float, c in the program is a float, but you also note down that see that only 15 decimal places, a lot of data loss. So you have to count down when you are doing the program. See, and next thing is isInstance. So how I use my isInstance, it's string, okay, true. For again float is true. See, 5 is not a float here. See, it's a false statement. So you can make it as true, like give a 5.0. So then the program automatically count this as a true. So let's execute it again. So see, from the output you can see it's considered as a true. So this is how we will be dealing with the Python numbers. So I hope you have an understanding about Python numbers. Let's move on to the list. Okay, here you can see, okay, I'm just clearing out. Okay, this is our Python list. So I have given some values like a is equal to 1, 2.55 academy for tech. So when we try to find the indexing, you can see 1 it should be 0. So next will be 1, again 3, sorry, 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so I can call out this particular item by calling out AF0. So I'll be able to fetch this particular data. Similarly, I can fetch the entire data like 0. You can fetch the entire data, like for example I need to fetch from 1 to 3, or I need to fetch from 2.2 to academy for tech. You can use colon. So I am using a colon and I'm giving a space here. I'm not giving any value here, so the Python will be trying to fetch everything. Similarly, you can see here fetching from 0 to 2. So I'm giving a limit here, you can note down here. So 0 to 2, so some particular limit only I need to know. I need to get the data for a particular limit. So you also have to see that even though I put 0 to 2, so when you count like indexing 0, then 1, 2, it should be printing this one also, right? So what happens means when you're printing the output, you'll be only printing 1 and 2.2, which means that you'll be only taking 0 to 1. So you have to note that when you are taking the printout of a particular index, like 1 into another end, try to add additional 1 here. So then only you'll be able to get exactly. So this follow for tuple string whatever it is. So let's take a printout. Okay, from the output you can see that I'm fetching 1 here. Again I'm fetching 0 to academy for tech. So again 0 2. So 0 2 you can see only it print only 2 elements. Similarly, I have see you can note here. I told you the tuple strings everything is immutable. So here we can change the data. So that's the benefit of the list. If you need to change some data, better use list. I hope you have a great understanding about list. So let's move on to the tuple. So this is our tuple. Okay, I have added some value here. A is equal to some academy for tech, something like this. And I told you we have to use parentheses, so I'm using parentheses here. Similar to list, but different is I'm using parentheses here. And another problem is that we cannot change the data. So if once we declare, we can change it, but benefit it is much faster. So let's take the printout. You can see I got an error when I'm trying to initialize something data. So I'm changing the value of the element. So I'm getting error from the program. So better don't try here in your program. Okay. So you can see here same follow for the tuple, but thing is that you cannot change the data. And another thing is that you have to use parentheses. I hope you have better idea than me. Okay. Let's move on to the string. Okay, for the string, I told single line string we had to use single quote command. You can use triple quotes. So in the triple quote you can see multi-line statement, multi-line blah blah blah. Okay, I'm taking the print of a of 0. So it will be printing only one single character. And I can also use a of 0 to a colon and space. So it'll be printing everything. Again a of 15. Some 15th character will be taking the printout. Let's check the output. So as I predicted, it's printing m. So only one first character. Again, it's printing everything when I using colon. You can also print like print a. That's enough. Actually, if you need to take a printout of a particular area, like for example, I need to take a printout from S to T. You can state here like something which will be the index here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 10 11 12. So from the 12 to the end number like 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. So 12 to 21 I have to use, so I can able to take the print of the particular character like this. So this is how the Python strings work, and I hope you have a better understanding. And let's move on to the set. Okay, as I told you earlier, for the set it is still immutable, and it'll be removing the duplication. There is no indexing in the set. So when I take a simple code printout, see here I'm getting printout. So but here there is no duplication. The ordering is different. See 1 2 3 and academy, so something uneven, so you cannot rely with this, but you can save data and you can remove duplication as well. So you can like use sets in case you need to remove the duplication from the user's entry or something like that. So I hope you have a better understanding about set as well. So let's move on to the Python dictionary. As I told you earlier, in the Python dictionary we have key and value. So what is exactly a key and what is value? So in the dictionary, first thing you see is key, second thing you see will be value. So here this one will be the key and this will be the value. So you can have multiple keys and values. So for showing an example, I just put key character key and again put it 2 integer, again integer 1 and the value. So I'm trying to call by key. So for example, I'm in the program, I'm calling key, so it'll be providing me output of 2. Again I'm calling a key. See here, even if I'm calling 1, still a key only, it'll be providing me output of value. Let's take a look at this program. So this program is dedicated for the dictionary. So when we're taking a dictionary, you have to see two important factors. One will be a key and there will be a value. So to call a value, you can fetch the key and try to execute it. So for example, I'm trying to print a of key. This will be the key. I'm getting the value of 2. Similarly, I'm trying to fetch 1. 1 is a key. I'm getting the value. So we'll take a printout. So see here, I'm getting 2 and a value. So as I told you earlier, you can use keys to call out the elements of a dictionary, and dictionaries is very effective if you have multiple entries. So let's move on to the implicit and explicit type conversion. In the Python we have two types of type conversion. One is implicit and there will be the explicit type conversion. For the implicit type conversion, Python will automatically convert the type. For example, you have multiple like classes. For example, if you have integer and float, so Python will be taking which is best for you. For example, if you have a plus b is equal to sum, so but the thing is that for the sum, for example, if you have a is integer and b is equal to float, so then Python will be consider as c, like sum will be considered as a float, so you don't lose any data if you have some decimal points. But in the case of explicit type conversion, user had to manually mention like what type it should be converted. For example, if I'm using a character and integer, I'm trying to add a character integer, I'll popping up an error. So sometimes you may have you have some values in the characters, so you can use these values when you use type conversion, explicit type conversion. Let's have a look at the program and see how we can execute a type conversion. In this program, I have dedicated two examples. One will be implicit conversion and another will be the explicit type conversion. So I'm having a value 1. So value 1 belongs to an integer and value 2 belongs to float class. So we have value 3 and it will be automatically considered as a float so that we don't lose any data. Okay, so this is how in the Python automatically doing the implicit conversion. So but in the case of this example 2, we have value 1, it is a character, and again value 2, it's a float. So but in the value 1, I have to mention that in the program, so the value 1 should be a float, so it'll be taking character 1 as a float and then adding to the value 2 and providing the output. So let's take an output. So from the output, I didn't get any errors, so it's considered characters as an float while converting here. So we have any, okay, for the first program I'm getting 2.1, output will be the float. Similarly for the second program, 2.1, output will be the float. I hope you understand how the implicit and explicit type conversion is done in Python. Okay, let's have a look at Python output. In Python output, we can use print function to output whatever things you had to give in the output screen. So we had to note there are a lot of parameters for the output formatting, we can use single quotes. Like in the inside a print statement we use single quotes, and what are the arguments are given inside a single quote, you can see here. And when I'm talking about output formatting, so that's how we can structure the like parameters. For example, in the hello world, in this statement we are only printing some characters, but in this case we are giving some value also, we are passing some values. So you can see that I'm giving a value, this will be the output statement. A will be some variables and some data will be there in the variable, so it'll be printing next to the value. Similarly, if we have a multiple variables and we had to place in different position, so we can use this kinds of like statements like string formatting, like dot you can use dot format and some variable name and variable 2 name, so it'll be assigned here. I'll be giving you more detail when I'm trying to explain you for the programming part. So for the second case, you can see we can use indexing, called indexing. So if you have variable 1, variable 2, you have multiple variables and you had to randomly feed the print statement, you can use like indexing, like it'll be like 0 1. So you can give 0 0 means the variable 2 will be printing on A equal to variable 2 and again B equal to variable 2. So I'll be getting you know more about it like when we are working on the programming part. So let's move on to the input statements. In Python we have input statement, like we can use input promote, like whatever, like what the user had to be entering. For example, in this example you can note that I'm trying to ask the user to enter something, so I'm also printing that. So once the user printing it, I'm accepting the value using this input function and then converting the value to integer, because normally when the user enters some value it will be considered as a string, so you may have to convert into the like your own variable. Sometimes it may be float, sometimes it may be integer, sometimes the user may enter the float and you only need integer, means you can convert it directly. So this is how the input work. And for the third case we will be working on import function. So for the import, it's like we have a modules and we have different modules, like when we are using OpenCV or something, you can use import CV2 or something. Like when we go for image analysis in the further on the after this class I'll be explaining on that. So you can use import function, like you can there are two types of import. You can import entire like module, or you can import a particular part of a particular module. For example, in this case you can see import math, so the entire module will be imported, but here you can see from math import PI. So I'm only importing this pi, means some function called pi, or some parameter called pi, so I'm only taking this pi. So I hope you have a great understanding. And another thing I have shown here, everything this Python is case sensitive. When you are trying to import something, you shouldn't use something else. Like for example, I have math, I cannot use capital MATH. So everything is specified and sensitive. So I'll be trying to give you a more explanation on the programming side. I hope you'll be able to understand when we come towards the program. Let's move on to the program. Okay, let's have a look at the program. In this program I'll be discussing about the output. So as you know that we can use print statement, and in the single quote you can print whatever you need. But when you have something formatting is required, for example if you have multiple variables to be given into the print statement to specific location, you can use formatting, string formatting. So here you can see that A is equal to I'm using some braces without any integer inside it. Here you can see that I'm not putting anything here. So I can also give like indexing here, but I'm not giving indexing. But normally it will be taking standard indexing like 0 1. For example, it will be taking a variable 1 and variable 2. They'll be feeding. So for this case I'm only using this variable 2 as only single index, so it will be printing only variable 2. And for this case we have x is equal to 12.34134567. We have 7 digit after the decimal point. So you can customize the like parameters after the decimal point. So for example, I just need to see only 2 digit after decimal point, I can use %3.2f. Similarly, I can use, if you need 4 digit, I can use 4f. So this is how you can customize your own output parameter. Okay, let's move to the Python input. So let's take the Python input program. So here I'm trying to give you an example. So how the Python normally take the output. For example, if I'm asking the user to type some values like enter a number, and we can check type of the particular number what the user is typing. For example, I need an integer, so even though if I type an integer, it will only convert to a string. So we can check with this one. And for the example 2, I am using integer. Whatever the user input, I'll be converted to integer. So another problem is that for the example 2, if the user types something, some alphanumeric or some other than the values other than integer, program will be popping up an error. I'll be helping you how to overcome this issue using some function called accept in the upcoming sections. So let's take the output of the current program. So from the program I'm giving an input. So let's say I'm giving an integer, so code 1. So as I told you earlier, so input is considered as a string. So the class the number belongs to is a string. Again I'm giving an integer 1. So here what happened means I'm converting the string to the integer using explicit conversion. So I'm taking the input and converting to the integer. Sometimes you may have to use some float, or sometimes the user enters some float value, you can convert to integer directly from the input, and you can use this particular function in your own application. But you have to note that if the user is using some other characters, it may give you an error. I hope you got a better understanding about the input. Okay, let's move on to the import statement. So for this, there are two methods of importing a module. So you can import a particular variable, or you can import a particular function by using a from the name of the module and then giving import, as you see here. Or you can randomly use import. So I'll give an I'll try to explain you the both example. I'm just running the first example. So once I'm executing the program, you can note down here. So I'm importing the math module. So in the math module, I'm taking the variable called pi using math.py. I'm pointing to the pi. So another method is you can import only a specific variable. So it's a variable called pi. I'm importing from the pi math. So it's like from math import pi. So I can only I just need to print pi. So in this program, the availability of the particular variable is being done. So I don't need to use dot pointing it from the math. Here I just need to use this pi directly. I hope you have a better understanding about how we can use import in a Python. I will see you for the next section. Have a great day ahead.